Vanessa, you think this is acceptable? This is OK?
Well, I don't really care whether it's acceptable or OK. It's a fact. I mean, it's the information that I think everybody needs to know because, you know, people are adults and they need to have the information at their fingertips. So if fat or being overweight, and in this case it's obese, is a contributory factor towards contracting at least 4 well-known cancers and a further 9 other cancers, I'd like to know about it. I don't want to be shielded from it, and I don't want it, you know, fudged up in some kind of phraseology that might not offend me. I want to know, and then I can decide what to do about it. If I don't know, because everybody thinks I'll be offended, how can I decide what to do?
OK, well, Shell, Vanessa says facts are facts. We need to know them.
Absolutely, and cancer research is vital for everything, and it's great that they found these new links, and that's fantastic. What I would ask is that they represent them in a way that is factual. What they've done is they've put the word obesity, which is very sensationalist, on an advert that looks like a cigarette packet, which is making a direct link with putting a cigarette in your mouth and catching cancer and putting a cake in your mouth because you're fat.
But the anti-smoking campaigns, the original ones, if you look at those, and they're very hard-hitting, and a lot of people were outraged at those when they first came out. But they've worked. If you think about it, 18% of adults now smoke, as compared to in the 74, 45% of adults. So that is a real decrease in the amount.
And it's not just down to the cancer research work. It was great. The adverts were hard-hitting and it informed us all that smoking causes cancer. That's fine. Smoking's different to eating.
Why?
Because you choose to smoke, you don't choose to eat. If you don't eat, you'll die.
Well, you choose the amount you eat.
You do, but not all obesity is caused by
Most obesity.
eating. Not actually, no.
Most
because
obesity.
Cancer research themselves, in their own research, state that there's a 77% genetic link between hereditary obesity and adult weight.
Or propensity towards, because 100 years ago, there was no one obese 100 years ago, pretty much.
No, but then 100 years ago, we didn't have sugar put in things like tinned tomatoes. We didn't put
eat less sugar?
Yeah, a sugar tax. I'm more than happy with a sugar tax.
That's the education, though, isn't it?
But that's not on the adverts, though, is it? That's the problem.
But if you say... We've been saying that for ages. The trouble is that, as Holly said, sometimes you've just got to push it that bit further and you've got to make people think, oh, my God.
And in general, I would be OK with that. But Vanessa said in her opening statement that we're all adults, but actually that we're not. Because walking down that high street, seeing all those adverts are small children, 11, 10, 9-year-olds who are walking along going, if I get fat, I'm going to die, I'm going to get cancer, I'm going to die, because we all know that cancer is the most frightening thing.
The chances are they could, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's the truth.
But how are we going... How in that advert does it teach them how to not become obese? How does it teach them?
It doesn't, and it's not supposed to. I mean, it's a flag, it's a warning. It's like a red flag on a beach. It's saying obesity, not just being slightly overweight, a stone overweight. It's not that. Obesity, if you're chronically obese, then your chances of cancer increase. It's a horrible fact. Listen, I've spent my entire life struggling with this. It's not like I think it's easy, and I don't think there's a blueprint about how to lose weight. It's incredibly difficult to do. It requires all sorts of
the problem
support.
Is that...
But it's the red flag. So it's saying, don't think that just because you don't smoke or you don't drink a lot, you can be really overweight and you'll be fine, because you won't, unfortunately.
But what it's saying is that if you're not obese, then you won't get cancer, which is actually inaccurate.
It isn't saying anything about not being obese. It's saying obesity can cause cancer too, and it's the truth.
It can cause cancer. It doesn't actually cause cancer. It's a contributory factor to developing further cancers. What the Cancer Research UK actual research states is that you've got cancer, which takes up probably smoking, which takes about a quarter, and then the next 3, which equal a quarter, is actually poor diet, lack of exercise, and being overweight. Now, you can have a poor diet and lack of exercise and still be very slim, and you still have an increased chance of cancer, but that's not on those adverts.
Are we in a situation at the moment where we're getting mixed messages?
Yes.
Because on one hand, you've kind of got this, you know, love your body, love the skin you're in, body positive, fall in love with your body, and the next message you're being told, actually, don't eat as much because you're going to die of cancer. So it's a bit... confusing.
The love the body you are message is such a great message, isn't it? Be positive about who you are. If you're large, that's great. Whatever size you are, it's fabulous. This is a message that is an easy sell, because it's just what everybody wants to hear, including me, who wouldn't? You know, just love yourself for the person you are.
Quite a lot of people don't want it.
I think it's a great message. But if they have found, and I had a doctor tell me yesterday, this is irrefutable evidence, that being obese can increase your risk of cancer, how can they not tell it like it is? And do they sit comfortably together as two messages? Of course they don't.
The figures, because loving your body, we do that so much on here, and that's so important. Good for the mind, you know, maybe have massive mental health issues. But a lot of the time it would appear that if you are obese, you've got your head in the sand, that you don't want to hear the facts. The facts are that obesity, treatments caused by being overweight, cost the NHS £6 billion a year. The annual spend on the treatment of obesity is greater than the amount spent on the police, the fire service and the judicial system combined. The overall combined cost of obesity to society is £27 billion a year. So you can love your body, but you've got to be aware of what your end game might be.
I have issues with those figures anyway, because actually they put class 2 diabetes in with those figures, and actually you don't have to be obese to have class 2. You do have to have a poor diet, and that is a massively contributing factor.
Type 2 diabetes is mostly linked to
it's poor diet and fat around your organs. You don't have to be obese to have fat around your organs.
In the greater case, type 2 diabetes is caused by that.
But, you know, so I have flaws with those figures anyway. The actual message about loving yourself is not about burying your head in the sand. This is what I do day to day. I want people out there to love who they are, and the way you look should be it could be completely irrelevant. If
irrespective of future health problems.
Well, no, because actually, if you learn to love yourself, if you go out and you are happy in who you are, you are more inclined to get out there and go around and move about. You are going to be more active.
You're a denier. You're denying that all of these things exist. Because it's much easier to say I'm happy with my body.
No, because I'm not saying that if you're happy with your body, you shouldn't exercise. I'm actually currently working on a series of projects encouraging people into sport, because actually there's a lot of research that says 57% of girls, by the time they get to 14, drop out of organised sport. I want to encourage people in sport. I want to encourage a more active, healthy society, but we don't do that by shaming people.
To Dr Ranj, because he's here. I just wanted to find out, sort of from a medical point of view, Ranj, what do you make of this?
So this is a really emotive subject, and I'm speaking to someone who has battled with their weight and has a professional viewpoint on this. It's not designed to fat shame. These facts are facts. Obesity is related to at least 13 different types of cancer, and it is a bigger cause of specifically four cancers than smoking is: bowel, ovarian, liver and kidney. These are just facts. And that's not saying to an obese person, this is your fault. This is actually saying, right, we recognise that this is a factor, therefore let's do something about it. You can love your body, but that doesn't mean you can't make it better.
Absolutely.
That's very fair.
Final point, Vanessa, just to you. That, as I mentioned there before, you know, there are a great many. We're going through a mental health crisis at the moment. If you saw that ad, would it fat shame you?
I think you'd feel awful. I think you'd feel worried and anxious and nervous and apprehensive, but I don't know about fat shaming. I think you would be armed with the information, and then it's up to you as an adult to decide what to do.
To either go home and bury your face into a gatto, to drop yourself onto the strictest diet you can find, which has a 95% failure rate, you know, either...
or none of those things, or take a reasoned, sensible approach, ask advice from your local GP, get online and see what other people have done that works. I mean, at least knowing that you're increasing your risk of those cancers that Dr Ranj just listed. I don't fancy getting any of those.
All right,
Who would want to?
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed.